दिल बदल दे। सुनूं मैं नाम तेरा धड़कनों में, मजा आ जाए मौला दिल बदल दे। मजा आ जाए मौला दिल बदल दे। मौला या बदल दे दिल की दुनिया, दिल बदल दे। या खुदाया फजल फरमा दिल बदल दे। मौला या हवा खिसवाना दिल बदल दे। या मेरा फलक में डूबा दिल बदल दे। Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're listening to Radio Lansar on 90.4 FM in Durban and 105.6 in Pietermaritzburg. The one and only. We're coming to you live from our studios at 207 West Road in the amazing Overport, Durban. I don't know where in the world you are, but we love Overport, we love Durban. But at the end of the day, wherever you are, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening in. It's Saturday. Once it goes past 10 o'clock, you know, it's time for the Dil Badalde show, which I know most of you, alhamdulillah, are regular listeners to. Alhamdulillah, thank you so much for all the feedback. For the first time listeners, welcome. If you tuned in for the first time, let me just introduce myself formally. My name is Faizal C. Joosab. I'm a family and marriage counselor, which means I get involved in situations that are quite hectic and pertains to your health, mental health, and to your physical well-being. So when you have a marital discord and you know what, you can't really go to a psychiatrist and say, what is wrong with me? I'm fighting with my wife. No, this has to be resolved by the experts that are involved in marital discord. And that's where I come in, alhamdulillah. So, alhamdulillah, through the fazl of Allah and the mercy that He has bestowed upon us in this amazing station. We've been doing it for about 15, 16 years on radio, and more than that in person. So we bring our expertise, our experience, and our wonderful journey to this radio show, and in the hope that we can educate the Ummah in not making the mistakes that unfortunately some people do fall in and that we must learn from. We've been talking about stress for the past couple of weeks, and stress is something that is a good thing, but too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So when you do have too much of stress and tension, then that creates anxiety, and anxiety creates all kinds of issues. And anxiety makes you change as a human being, makes you a person that's not really nice to be around. So in marriages, if you're going to have a financial woe, then you bring that stress, tension, and anxiety to your wife, your kids. If you have a health issue, if your mom and dad are not healthy, or you have that kind of issue, if you're marital discord, the anxiety starts to show. So we've covered that for the past 2 weeks or so, because it's a very serious thing, and it's one of the major factors that brings about divorce. Because you know why people get divorced is because people fight, they argue, they disagree. Conflicts are not managed, it blows out of proportion, nasty things are said, egos are hurt, talaq takes place. Now that's something we hate. The T word we do not want to be so prevalent at the moment. It is too prevalent. It's like a person is born to die, a person is married to get divorced. The current mahal is, and I'm not talking only in South Africa, I'm talking throughout the world, it's a bit too fallible. You get married and it's like, wow, we're out of this. So the last 2 weeks we have been speaking to you about stress and anxiety and all kinds of tension. So, to break the tension, let me formally introduce my co-host and the charm of the show, Misbah. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now everybody must be saying, missed you.
Okay. I liked your statement about egos.
Yeah, because I mean, when somebody gets offended in an argument, in a disagreement, then obviously now they're going to escalate it. I'm leaving you. I'm going to my father. I'm phoning my father, as if though he's scared of your father. So obviously he's going to now calm down. It just makes the matter worse. I will divorce you. Get out from here. I'm phoning your father. He must come pick you up. Egos are hurt, as if though her father's going to come and he's going to be very nice to you and take your part. That happens sometimes, not all the time. But escalating the situation, why? Because of egos. Do you agree?
So you're saying today's topic, stress, somewhere related to egos.
Yes, because stress comes from the factor that you are not happy with what is happening and you have not accepted it as a test. And please don't misunderstand. I am the worst from everybody in handling stress, okay? Because if I'm going to say something like this, I should be the master control of stress. And I do agree that we are vulnerable. But I don't let it compound the situation or blow out of proportion. I do go to my template, which is, if Allah has given me this test, Allah will alleviate this test. So there's no need to stress. All you got to do is be patient, and patient means calm. Don't fight, argue with everybody. What's wrong with you? Why are you talking so loud? Shut up, children. I come home and it's always mayhem. Pick this place. Ah.
I think entitlement is also one of the reason for
Yes, because you don't like the stress and you feel like you don't deserve to be tested. Now, Allah Pak has informed us, and surely we will test you. Did you not believe that you will be tested? Allah Pak tells us in the Quran this. So we need to understand that whenever we come to an issue, this is now where we have to show our mettle. So now we are panicking and falling apart, whereas we're supposed to be bringing our A game. So that's in marriage now. But today, what we want to talk about is how your stress affects your kids. Because what we're doing is weakening the next generation. So, marriage.
and also we're preparing the mothers because exams coming.
There comes the stress.
Yeah.
So, marriage can be a wonderful and fulfilling experience, but no lifelong commitment is likely to run smoothly. Your spouse or you might go through a difficult period where you find the stress to be too much. It could be work related, health related, or even family related. But it can take its toll on marriages, and stressful situations can break homes. So that's why we have the high divorce rate. And then who really suffers? Because I mean, you can live with your ego for the rest of your life. Yeah, I didn't want to live. He used to push me around. I was terrible, and he used to make zulm upon me. Now a lot of ladies will say that, and the men will be equally vocal about it. Yeah, I'm better off alone. There's plenty of fish in the ocean. No, man, come on, plenty of fish in the ocean, and you think you're a master fisherman. We're not fishermen. Allah provided us with a wonderful spouse. That wife of yours was an amazing person, but you didn't look after it. That means you didn't look after yourself. When you come to a problem, like for instance, a sickness, your immune system is supposed to be strong. Alhamdulillah, we will overcome the sickness in a shorter space of time. All our gunas will get washed away. That's the system. When you have a problem in your marriage, you're supposed to have a connection with your wife and yourself. You're not supposed to tear each other apart and then bring up the past. Oh, I never forgive you. Remember how you complained to your mother and your father about me? Huh? I don't want to look at their faces anymore. You must go alone to your mother's house. I don't care. And leave my children here. They're my children. But nah. See, can't control himself. But if he had a good connection with his wife and say, see, please, let's not go today. Let's go tomorrow. You'll talk better. You'll behave better. But stress is a thing that really blows everything apart.
We have a message from Sister Rukaya.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi, my Faizal Bhai and Bhabi. Whenever an intelligent man takes a decision, he closes his eyes, thinks a lot, listens to his heart, uses his head, and finally does what is right. You can change the past nor control the future, but you can change the mood of the day by touching someone's heart with your smile. Remember all in your duas, Ameen. Promise yourself no matter how bad people treat you, never become a bad person to take revenge. Still be kind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the beauty of your heart. Don't fight your battles with your hands, fight it with your duas. You will always win. Depositing my duas to my Faisal, Bhai, and Bhabi.
You said such a nice thing. And as usual, I'm up now. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, my Faisal Bhai and Bhabi, and your family. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aap aur aapki family ko hamesha khush rakhe, salamat rakhe. Ameen. So, alhamdulillah. Thank you for that wonderful message. I like what you said. Close your eyes. Listen to your heart and use your head. No, don't use your head. You'll go headbutt somebody. Use your brain. Your heart will say, I'm fed up of this. I can't do this anymore. I want out. I don't deserve this. I deserve better than this. I never signed up for this. But then your brain will say, but then what happens tomorrow if I quit? If I quit my job, quit my marriage, lose my cool. Think, use your brain and follow the consequences. That's how you alleviate stress. You get oxygen in your system. Anytime you feel flustered, stressful, anxiety is overwhelming you, breathe. Oxygen is the cure. So if you do that, then that'll be it.
Okay. Another message. Salams, Faisal and your amazing co-host. Just needed some advice. I was separated for 6 months and now divorced. So total 9 months. I wasn't with my ex. I'm receiving proposals. Wanted to know, is it still soon to remarry or wait a while, as I did go through trauma with my ex with mental and physical abuse. Please advise.
Too soon means have you dealt with it? if you have gone for counseling, if you have spoken to somebody and you feel as if though you have put the past in the past and have moved on, which means you've understood that it was an experience that brought you closer to Allah Pak. You understand that you have benefit from the situation and you are very humbled and thankful to Allah that what was best for you has happened. Then you will be able to move on. Otherwise, when you get married, and I'm sure those proposals are fantastic and those men are wonderful guys and want to keep you happy, make you happy, and be happy with you, I think you're going to be fighting a ghost or perhaps trauma. So it's never too early or too late. The major factor is, have you addressed the issue? Because please, you need to understand, you've been through a harrowing experience. Everybody, whether you were right or wrong. If you were wronged, then it's even worse. But if you were right, and you know what, it's just very hard to handle because your heart breaks. I mean, a person does not get married to get divorced. So if a man ill treats his wife, he made the mistake. He too needs time to realize that, you know what, I pushed her too hard, and now you see, now I'm all alone. Now I have to come home and switch on my lights. I get to see my children on the weekend. I have to live like a person who is half unbalanced, unfulfilled. I had it all and I lost it. He also needs counseling. He needs to do his Islah. He needs to go. So I would say you need counseling, you need trauma counseling, you need to now repair yourself before you start the next part of your life, the next part of your journey. So,
We have another message. Salam's brother Faizal, my husband is a narcissist.
okay. Doctor, sister. Okay, carry on, please,
He's so
doctor.
good, friendly around people, but at home, totally opposite. Only fights, argue with me, everything is my fault, says I'm useless. My time is evolving around my kids. He hardly helps with them, doesn't show any love or affection towards me. Every time I go by my parents for a few weeks, he says he's changed. He'll be a good husband. After a few weeks, he's back to normal. He doesn't admit he has a problem. So drained, fed up, want what's best for my kids, not this environment in our home. Whatever way I try to guide him, he doesn't listen. Others says anything they are right. What must I do?
Get professional help. You just said it yourself. He doesn't listen to you. So you're going to have to change to deal with the situation because eventually you are going to be the counselor. Eventually you are going to be the one that's going to guide him. But what you're going to have to do is win his trust. We have to go into his past, see how he was brought up. Tarbiyah has a very important way to formulate, to form a person's character. How you were brought up, what you're seeing. In fact, today that's what we're going to talk about. If children live in stressful situations, that's what they learn. So did he have a father or a mother, or did they spoil him too much to believe that? Now he has to change. Islamically, he has to conform to what is Islam, which is that you have to serve your wife and you can't keep on criticizing and picking on her. Furthermore, you leave him, you go to your mother and father's house, and then you come back, but you're not admitting to getting outside help. That means you need to get counseling because a counselor will sit down and diagnose the issue. Now you're saying he's a narcissist. So
And she
basically,
also mentioned that she guides him, but he doesn't listen to her.
yes, and he's not going to listen to you. Men don't listen to women unless the woman has his trust and he believes his wife is amazingly intelligent. So if he doesn't, he's disrespecting, criticizing you. Now you have to first change that because if you're going to go to university and the janitor is going to come and give the lesson, you won't sit there. You'll walk out. Why? Because he's a janitor. Now he's looking at you and he's saying, "You're going to tell me what to do." Now we need to first change that concept because you are not silly and stupid. You know what you know, and you can guide him. But his concept has to change. But who's going to change the concept? Not you. Somebody else has to do it for you. So get some help immediately. If you are separated at the moment, tell him that this is my prerequisite for coming home. We go for counseling. Do a few sessions, get something in place, and then continue counseling because it's not as though he's going to change overnight. Because I think this is inset in him. He needs you, but he doesn't know how to behave as a good Muslim husband. We need to teach him.
We have a message.
Gee,
Hello, my husband used to say to me, I must put the bags on my head and go to my mother's house. Thank you.
why put the bags on your head? Why can't you get somebody to carry him? Your husband has something in his head. I think that's why he says put things on your head. I hope you're laughing with us because men say some amazingly silly things. Men and women sometimes just really lose their cool and they say some amazing. I mean, what is your husband trying to say? Put your head for what?
Bag on your head.
Yeah, you have a handle, you have wheels on luggage. When you go to the airport, everybody's pushing their luggage and they're so happy it has wheels. We don't have to lug those things anymore like in the olden days. Now we've advanced. The time, see what? You got rocks in your head, right? I'm not gonna put it on my head.
What about telling him, no, I'm not leaving, you leave?
I don't know. I think the situation might be quite hectic there.
Okay. The sister who was talking about getting proposals, and
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
she said, I'm seeing a psychologist at the moment.
Well, then you can make the decision whether you are ready or not. And your psychologist can make the decision. If you were coming to us, then we could advise you accordingly. But how much of progress you've made and how much is your demeanor? So we can read your body language. We can tell you, and Ms. was very, very good at this. So she can tell you whether you're ready. Furthermore, whoever you do choose to marry has to come in and you'll have to do premarital. And he has to be explained that, see, listen, you're not walking into a new marriage, you're walking into a marriage that has a lot of baggage, unfortunately. And this is what you're accepting. So you've accepted the situation, then you have to conform to what the situation needs. So he's going to need a little bit of guidance as well. But this question, I think you have to ask your clinical psychologist who you're going to, whether they think you're ready or whether you need a few months more to recover, inshallah. Okay, so your stress troubles your child. And toxic stress is relentless and deeply damaging to our children's health. This is caused by neglect, because when you are upset at night and you're worried and you're overthinking the situation, as we all do, then you haven't got time to look at your child smiling. They say, Daddy, can we play? Can we play? And you say, no, not now. I'm a little bit tired. Now that's me. I'm talking about me now. I don't know about you guys out there, and I'm sure you'll follow exactly what I'm doing as well. But it's like you can't pull yourself away from your thoughts to sit with your child and look at their beautiful smiles and play with them and totally de-stress. You need to overthink the situation, and you want to overthink the situation. So the neglect that you cause, the exposure to violence, I mean, like, and violence is not necessarily physical, it's also verbal as well. So physical or emotional abuse in a relationship, the children are watching and they get very scared. So tolerable ways to handle your stress is very important. Stress is manageable, but our children's stress is not simply a disease. It's a symptom that you need to make a few changes. That means you need to know how to handle your stress so that they can learn from you that, in fact, stress is something important, but it has to be managed. And it all boils down to something which I'm guilty of, and that is I my iman shouldn't be this weak that I do not trust my Allah to pull me out of the situation. So if I have an issue, instead of overthinking the situation, I should be making dua. Now remember, overthinking and dua is two different things. Overthinking is when I'm talking to myself. Dua is when I'm sitting on the musalla, I'm in wudu, I read 2 rakawats of hajat sawa, my arms are raised, I read Durud Sharif, and I'm saying to Allah, oh Allah, you are the only one who can help me. Allah, you are the remover of difficulties. Oh Allah, help me. And that will give you courage to say that, you know what, I've taken my problems, left it in His hands. He's the one who has given me this test, and He's the one that will alleviate the test. Then you feel better. So we're all kind of like not doing that at the moment, aren't we? And then the stress and the issues piles out of proportion. People are getting divorced. Kids are crying, getting beaten up. Not good. So it could be a bad day at work, money worries, a fight with your spouse, even bad traffic when you are running late. Life is full of big and small stresses, and you may think your kids are too young or not mature enough to know that something is going on, but often the opposite is true. They know, they watch everything. The walls are thin. So kids can be especially sensitive to their parents' moods, and it doesn't mean we as parents shouldn't show our emotions. I mean, we have to be real. I mean, if you're upset, you're upset. You're angry, you're angry. You're happy, you're happy. But it does mean that we should be mindful of how we manage them. That means everybody's not a punching bag. Your 6-year-old or your 14-year-old or your wife is not a punching year old. You know what I mean? Your kids won't always see you calm and happy. To see you calm and happy, but stress, sadness, frustration, other negative emotions are a normal part of life, and it's good for children to know that it is part of life. But what is most important is for parents to model how to find healthy ways to deal with stressful times. That means we need to teach them that a teacher, a ustad, a molana, a principal cannot teach them how to manage their stress. They'll come to you and say, Dad, what's wrong? I said, I I've got a lot of problems as adults. You know, we have a lot of problems. But when I look at you, all my problems going. So give me a nice hug. And there I told you my My little one, he's become quite the genius. So, mashallah, he's
I
come
don't
up
want
with.
to generalize, but naughty schools are actually stressful.
But he's got this amazing concept. When he'll come and he'll hug me and he'll say to me, "I need to charge you. Let me give you a hug." And while he's hugging me, he'll say, "Charge, charge, charge." And that is simply amazing. I mean, so young and so amazing. Look at your children; you'll find them geniuses. And please tell them that they are geniuses. Stop being reluctant to tell people and say, "No, what? You don't bring A's, you're not a genius." Just because a person can remember something and write it on a piece of paper does not mean that they are not brilliant in inspiring people or in another thing. So they might not be maths geniuses, but they could be people. That mean they could really relate to people and they could be something amazing. You don't have to be an A student school be a genius. You could have creative ability. And every child has that. But we need to find that. And as parents, it's obligatory. But kids catch your stress. Stress that builds up without relief can start to affect how you interact with your children and how they feel. So, I don't want to stress my engineer out. He's so good looking. Anyway, I always tell you, he's very good looking. So, proposals are welcome, but we'll have to screen all those lovely ladies out there that want to do. My wife will actually speak with you and say, you know what, it's our thing. So, you know what I mean? We need to monitor the situation. We don't want any chances. Just joking. Just joking. But like I said, I don't want to stress him out. We're going to take an ad break and we're going to be back after this.
Radio Al Ansar, 24/7, 365.
Education, health, dignity, empowerment. These wishes all begin with water. African Muslims Agency is committed to providing clean water to the thousands who still live without this basic human right. Support us in giving the best of charity. Provide a water well for 16,500 rand or a borehole for 55,000 rand in Afghanistan or 65,000 rand in Africa. In Tawabi Talia and help communities to reach their full potential. African Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
Raising his middle finger. One of Walid said, I am the person who looks after an orphan and provides for him will be in paradise like this. Partner with Gift of the Needy in bringing relief to widows and locally and abroad. Our support to those most vulnerable is ongoing. Donate now to Gift of the Needy, an Ulama guided NGO, FNP. Gift of the Needy, account number 626-046-33-009. Donate online www.giftoftheneedy.com or 03127131102. Gift of the Needy, bringing ease to those in need.
Vodacom Shop. For smartphones, laptops, routers, asset insurance, gaming, IoT, payment platforms, and the latest gadgets to always keeping you in the forefront of innovation and technology. Home and business internet to ensure that you have the best connection. Plug and play home internet to fully installed fiber. Our infrastructure provides a resilient platform for your critical business applications, which will help your business perform best. Vodacom Shop at the Pavilion Superstore 2.0, Westwood Mall, The Bluff, The Workshop Durban, Umlazi Mega City, Bridge City Kwamashu, Brookside Mall PMB, and the Nelson Mandela Square Stanton 2.0.
Are you tired of pouring chows that make you louder than your mother-in-law's words? Then plug up those taste buds and head on down to JMO's Pizza and Grill. From breakfast to bedtime bites, we've got it all. Chicken tikka, shish kebabs to cheddar steak sandwiches. Swing by and pull into Saxony Westwood Mall's food court. Open daily. Catch us Sunday to Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And on Fridays and Saturdays, we're serving up sizzle till 9 p.m. We deliver. Call us on 082 678 5062. JMO's, where every meal's a flavor fiesta.
Come get our butcher's best for less at Checkers Foods Cowie Park. Enjoy certified halal butchery products like Capo for steak, $79.99 per kg, extra lean just $109.99 per kilo. Steakhouse Classic Beef House Steak just 13 rand per 100 grams, 59 rand per 300 grams. Deals valid from Monday, October 7th until Sunday, October 20th. Only at Checkers Foods Cowie Park. Now certified by the NIHT, the National Independent Halal Trust, across a butchery, bakery, and deli.
Welcome to Simplex Radio. Visit our showroom for the full range of car audio. Our TV department carries top brands with quality LED panels, full HD to Ultra HD, and now the experience of Super Ultra HD. Visit our theater rooms and transform your home with brands like Onkyo, Integra, Denon, Boston Acoustics, Yamaha, and more. For quality audio-visual experience. Now available full range of home appliances. A one-stop shopping experience. Call 031 306 4029 or Kenilworth Park, 202 Brickville Road, Overport. Citrix Radio, the name you can trust.
Radio Al-Ansar, 90.4 FM, Peter Maritzburg, 105.6 FM.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we're back. This is Radio Ansar, 90.4, 105.6 in Peter Maritzburg, and you could be watching us on Facebook. And remember, you can interact with us on radio at the moment, 0861 904 904, if you want to dial in. Or perhaps you want to WhatsApp us on the studio line. It's 060 904 1056, 060 904 1056. And if you want to send me an SMS on my line, that's my personal line, 083 7789314. Okay, and Facebook also. I mean, you can drop us a comment, a like, share, whatever you like. Okay. But on that note, you can come and get your butcher's best for less at Checkers Foods, Kawi Park. Enjoy certified halal butchery products from Checkers Foods in Kawi Park. Half a lamb, 98.99 per kilo. Chicken mince, 59.99 per kilo. Dania sausages, 99.99 per kilo. And beef Texan steak only 89.99 a kilo. Checkers Foods Kawi Park, certified by the NIHT, the National Independent Halal Trust, across the butchery, bakery, and deli. Prices valid until Sunday, 20th of October. So get down to the Checkers Kawi Park. Okay, now we paid our dues. Let's continue. So, like I said, I'm a family marriage counselor, controller. Sometimes it feels like that you have to control the room because when the arguments break out, it's quite macabre, meaning it can get very bad. So, when a couple decide to open their heart and speak, it's quite hectic. Now, I can just imagine in my rooms in front of me when they're talking to me and how they can let fly, then what's happening at home in front of those little innocent children. And today, that's what we're talking about because kids catch your stress. So, you might not be able to set aside those worries to focus on playing a game, cooking together, or going outside, kicking a ball, playing with the pet. But these are the things that kids respond to and look forward to. Now, here, you just had a fight with your wife, and you're not in the mood now to discuss anything else. But parents today talk about their children of all ages, how they fight in front of their children, how they speak to their children. They unfortunately don't keep it very private. And parents do say, oh, they don't pay attention. I mean, I'm seriously, I've heard this so many times because when I make parents feel guilty, then why are you harming your children? Say, no, they don't know anything. We don't fight in front of them. Oh, then we are fighting on the Drakensberg Mountains. You're fine in your bedroom. You think they don't hear anything. They don't see mommy crying, her eyes swollen or whatever, red. They don't see you making sitting at the table, nobody's talking. The tension and stress, you can feel the atmosphere. Who are you bluffing? You're bluffing yourselves. So if we fight, they don't hear us. If we make a comment about them, they don't listen anyway. They listen, but not paying attention because they're trying to survive. Parents often are convinced that their children don't listen to what they say and don't tune in what they do on any significant level. But children listen. Not only do they listen, but what you as a parent say to your children often gets ingrained into their very being. Your story soon becomes their story. It happens so many times. How many people, how many children who've grown into adults now don't want to get married or scared to get married? Why? Because they actually say it. I came from a very volatile background. My mother and my father used to fight too much in front of me. They get affected. I mean, that's the truth. And we're not stopping. We're still doing it. The way we fight. Because humility has left the building. Humility has left our lives. If your wife is angry with you, you're supposed to stay calm. That's the hadith. If your spouse is angry with you, you should remain silent. You should remain calm. That's the instruction the ulama has told us that comes from our Master Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. What do we do? No, I'm going to put her straight. Yeah, put her straight. And put yourself out as well. Sure.
The children who witness a lot of criticism, constant criticism, they have low self-esteem when they grow.
Self-esteem meaning a correct identity of who you are, the identity that they have is the identity that my parents don't love me, they totally hate each other. I don't know who I am.
The
But
worst thing a parent can do is talk bad about the other parent.
But now when the parents are fighting, they're not going to say, my wife is such a wonderful person. It doesn't matter if she thinks I'm a bad guy. It's okay. It's okay. I still love her. Who's going to say, this woman, ungrateful, she needs to go back to Nana. Tell your mother, pack her bags and go.
But that is still okay. We hear children saying, "My father said what she used to do in the past and how she used to do."
Oh,
I think
when the
that's what's
stories
really
open up,
damaging.
when you start using your children as counselors and arbitrators, go ask your father.
Maybe
Go ask
weapons
your
against
father
each
what he
other.
did to me in the first year of marriage. He shoved me in the cupboard and he closed the door. What, you're playing hide and seek, mommy? Huh? That's what the child usually will
It's
say.
really damaging.
Mm.
I have a message.
Mhm.
Is it important to look at your spouse when having conversation? I find it hard to look at my husband.
Um, eye contact is necessary because they feel that they are being heard, and it's a form of respect. I would say for men, it's not very necessary. So 50% of the time you can look at him, 50% you can look down. But as long as you answering him, so if he says, "Are you listening to me?" Yes, I'm listening to you. I mean, I don't agree with what you're saying, but I mean, I'm listening. You said
So
down.
what's the root cause
Well,
of not looking at your husband? Why she's not
um,
happy? She's
she
not looking.
probably has a fear of confrontation, or she's a person who is more pensive, maybe more introverted.
She's not trusting him enough.
Yeah, because when she looks at him, then she sees a lot of rage in him and that kind of stuff. For women, that usually is the reason. For men, when they don't look around, they embarrassed and they're feeling very upset that, you know what, why am I in this position? And why is my wife doing this to me? And I shouldn't be humiliated or embarrassed like that.
I mean, ladies, they do try in the first time, and when you see their husbands sway them or shout them or fight with them, the first time they ever try to be nice to their husband, and then they just close up after that if the husband doesn't respond
Well,
well.
that's the wrong thing to do.
Mm.
Because today you need to address your problems. Now, if he's not getting through, then when he's calmer, he had his tea and he had his shower, he had his maghrib, and you sit down and say, "See, I just want to say something and I want your opinion. Do you think shouting and screaming at me is going to make me love you more?" That's the stop. When you're dealing with a person with high anger levels, you have to ask them questions to make them think. Don't tell them how to think. Ask them questions to make them think.
But those wives also need guidance because they don't know how to
Yeah.
tackle the situation.
So,
We have another. Sorry, we have another message. I'd like to remain anonymous. Yes, the children are affected. Once my husband and I had a big argument, and my son was sitting in the lounge with the magazine. For an hour, he didn't turn the page, so he wasn't reading the magazine. His mind was occupied with the argument that was between my hubby and I. It does affect the kid.
I mean, we all can identify with that. But these arguments happen. Then once you're made up and he said sorry, you said sorry, hugged and made up, then you'll need to go to your son and then laugh about it and says, "I noticed you didn't turn the page. So you were acting like you're reading a magazine and you were eavesdropping on her. Weren't you, Mohammed? What you were doing?" So he'll laugh and he'll say, "Yeah, you're frightening me. You're like, tearing each other's heads off." He says, "This, my boy, is marriage. We're going to love one another and we're going to fight. It's called passion. But that doesn't mean we're going to fight."
That's the sign the child grows, and
Yeah, because
speaking of anxiety.
because a child's brain is not able to handle that kind of conflict, that kind of maturity. They're children, their brain has not developed, and we put them face first. It's like what you do, show a child a horror movie. That's why we have age restrictions. That 2 to 18. No, don't watch this movie. Friday the 13th, Halloween, whatever those horror movies were that we saw in the past, Why they have age restrictions? Because the children get frightened. Now you're enacting a horror movie right in front of them. I mean, God, you taking an axe and running for your wife. I'm not saying physically now, just rhetorically,
Verbally.
just philosophically. You're throwing knives with your tongue, slicing the heart with a blade with your tongue. But the children are not supposed to see all of that. So, because when we talk politics, our children often will talk the same politics. That's why when teachers call the parents in and say, "Your children are swearing," where did they learn the swear words? At home. It was daddy swearing, mommy swearing daddy. The F's and the B's and the S and the T's and the U's and the W's and the A and whatever alphabet y'all are using, right? They're learning it at home and then they say it's A. It's an acceptable language. So they come in school and they swear their classmates or their colleagues and their friends. And the children,
My son noticed a new thing.
yeah.
Came to me and he says, "Mommy, do you call daddy this name?" And does daddy call you this name? And he was smiling because he saw that it's a happy environment, it's a positive environment.
Alhamdulillah, because Rasulullah Pak had in the people to call her Humaira. We have to have nicknames for one another. It's a sunnah which we should practice.
Sincere guys and different message. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My Faizal Bhai and Babi. Maaf Correction for using the word head
I was just
instead of
joking.
saying use your brain.
Yes.
Man does not fill a container more evil than his belly. It is sufficient for man to eat that amount which straightens his back. That is, a few morsels to gain some energy. If this is not possible, then a third for food, a third for drink, and third for yeah.
Mhm.
Life is like a beautiful ocean. Some days there's warm sunshine and miles of bright blue waters. Others days there's nothing but darkness and raging water. But Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala always makes the sunshine again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is my Bobby sister.
Yeah, well, sometimes, we don't feel our bellies, we feel our hearts. Well, I always say that it's true. How are you going to resist mutton biryani? Can I have another helping? You had 3 already. What's wrong with you?
Some prawns with
So, if we say our children are great writers, poets, artists, future engineers, etc., they often will believe they are too. Call your children geniuses. You'll be amazed as to how they actually are going to behave and think that they're geniuses. And they will fulfill their potential because they are geniuses. Geniuses has an excellent, because look at them. I mean, come on, these kids nowadays are amazing. But you have to look at them with those eyes of, amazement. But now
reassurance.
yeah, and then if you look at them now and you think these people are eating my money and they're buying toys and they're wasting on ice cream. No, these are developmental tactics. When my father bought me an ice cream when I was 5 years old, I did not forget till today how kind he was. He bought me the 20 police car and he bought me ice cream. And I remember my tears were falling into the ice cream as I ate those ice cream.
The salty ice cream.
Salty. Yeah, now they got what salted ice cream, caramel. I had salted ice cream that time. But
Well, my son had an ice cream yesterday, and after eating ice cream, he had, I think, a little bit of a sugar rush or what. He was running around with the sign, and then he dropped the sign, unfortunately. And then he looked at us, and his eyes popped out. Am I in trouble now? And the first thing I did is hug him and his daddy, make sure the sign is fine.
Yeah,
like
now
that.
you don't get shouting from the people.
And then he was calm because hugging and
You
reassuring
only
him.
can do that if you are not in a stressful situation. Let's say, for instance, me and you were arguing, right? In a stressful situation, then I would have told him, stand still. And then you would have said, see, these people here, we need to take them home now. Let's go home. And because we were stressed out with one another, then we would have taken out on the kids. This is what we're talking about. But look, that happens. And it could have happened to us and probably will happen to us. But then afterwards, you go to the child and you talk to the child and say, I'm sorry, baby, I overreacted. Because remember, humanity is an amazing thing.
I saw you spoke to him after 3-4 hours about this. See, you shouldn't have ran and you shouldn't have
Yeah,
done
I
it.
told him it's not. I know you're full of energy, but you see, when you're gonna run and you're gonna knock over something and you can break something, the people won't like it. So please be careful. And you know what? You get hurt as well. So please take. But you have to go back to the child. You can't just leave it pending because now you and your wife had a powwow, and that's more important for you to keep your ego out the man in the house, at the food table.
Sometimes it's other stress too than spouse. They can be financial stress, they can be health issues.
Share. Sharing the load always makes the load lighter. Sit with your wife, talk to your wife. Sit with your husband, talk. Communicate. That means tell him what's going on. Don't sit like a lemon and expect to make lemonade all the time. Because nobody likes lemonade all the time.
All the time, yeah, no.
Right. So sit down, and lemon is good for digestion. So digest the whole situation, talk to her, and tell her, listen, you know what? I'm not in a good place. What? No, you know what? I don't think I got the money for the bills this month. I think we overspent. The credit cards are out of control. This is happening. Why don't you tell me? We'll tighten our belts a little bit. I'll make a meal. It must last us 2 days. And we'll start saving where we can. Electricity will save, this will save, that will save. Say, thank you. So immediately you feel better because your wife heard you and understood you. And then as far as the children are concerned, we need to be talking to them in a positive way. We can't keep on telling them that they're lazy, irresponsible, because then they're likely to play that part. Our job as parents is to build our children up, help them feel good about who they are, provide a safe environment for them, and to nurture them on the path to adulthood. Because if they're going to have problems, then it's going to become our problem. So, in fact, you're saving yourself. Obviously, this is an incredibly difficult job. But however, in this world full with people quick to put them down, it's vital that we hold for our children a safe haven in this world. My mom and dad believed I was a genius. And I hope today I'm at least trying to fulfill their hope or their dream. Maybe they overthought the situation and maybe they lied to me. I don't know. But it fuels me that, what, my mom and my dad were there. So it's very important to have support network. And now at the moment I got somebody sitting next to me who also thinks I'm good at cheese sandwiches.
Alvin.
So it's vital that we tune into ourselves as parents, and it's our job to pay attention as to how we speak to our children. But remember, a big part of what speaking to our children is how we speak to ourselves. That means when we're talking, how you speak with what kind of diplomacy. Like I said, in our house, we laugh a lot. And yes, we counselors, but we have to use our own methodology. We have to use our own product. And our product is that you can talk to me about anything. I won't get angry. I'll understand. It's important that we know that our words and actions impact upon children because they absolutely do. And when parents talk about how to play with others, how to settle conflict, how to treat people, what colleges to go to, which jobs to strive for, etc., children are taking it in. They're learning because, they trust you. As a parent, be sure that the message you're giving is the one you mean for your child to hear. They are listening, they're watching, and they're internalizing what you live every day. So be mindful and know that your job is one of the most important jobs in the world. As the great people always said, that children are the future. So be careful. Now, it's not easy, but the gift of a child from Allah is like the fulfillment of a dream. Remember, Ibrahim alayhi salam, he cried for 60 years. He begged Allah for a son. Children give you a new sense of perspective. It transforms you into someone else. Being a parent is an amazing, amazing thing. Speak to the people who don't have children, and they'll tell you how much they, how badly they feel that they haven't got children. Allah bless them with children, bless everybody with children, but make us better parents. Because as parents, we try to teach our kids the difference between right and wrong. So we sometimes have little tolerance for what we perceive to be naughty behavior. But did we not teach them the naughty behavior? We tell them don't talk lies. They must never catch us speaking lies because they're going to say, "Daddy, didn't you lie?" My one told me, say, "Daddy, didn't you lie?" I said, what I lie? What did I lie about? You know, I hate lies. What did I lie? He says, "You told me you're going to buy me 3 toys. You only bought me 2." So I smiled and I said to him, "No, but you see, I didn't lie. I said I'm going to buy you 3 toys. There's still time left. And do we have to buy everything today? Isn't you said you don't like the toys then? So can I take you to another shop and buy you the third one?" Okay, then it's okay. Then it's okay. Then you didn't talk to us. Now you see, now that is how they are observing us. But obviously, we've given them a platform to tell us what they're thinking. Are you all that strong to really hear what your children are thinking? It's better because then you can really shape their minds and shape their hearts. You can teach them to be better than you.
And I think when children, especially teenagers, when they're building that trust, they're coming and telling you what happens in the class, when they're in grade 5 and 6 and 7. One thing you cannot do is criticize their friends or shout them after that. And what do you think? Why did it happen? Why your friend did that? Then they'll
I think every parent has to be a counselor and has to have the skills because when your son or your daughter comes to you and tells you something, then you can't solve their problem, but you can guide them. So let's say your son is being bullied in school, then you have to tell him, see what you want to do. You want me to come and talk to the principal and make a big issue, or do you want to sort it out yourself? That means grow from this class. Don't listen to what they think. See, you know who you are. They'll call you skinny or fat, stupid or dumb. But are you dumb? Are you stupid? Are you skinny? Are you fat? What are you? Then they'll say, no, I said, trust the people who you can trust. That means take the word of people who you can trust. You trust me. You're an amazing boy. You're my son. I'm proud of you. So all those people out there that don't know what you're talking about are going to tell you things that you don't necessarily need to believe. So don't be offended by it. So if he tells you that you're too skinny, then you find a fault and say, yeah, you look like a buffoon. So fight back. But don't be vulgar, don't be violent, and don't lose your respect. Don't get into trouble. Fight fair, but fight. That means learn how, because we are Muslims. We don't sit back and just say, okay, we're going to lay down and die. We stand up for ourselves, we stand up for the community, and we stand up for Allah. We are brave people. And when your son is going to hear that, he's going to say, you know what, Dad, I think you're right. I think, you know what, I need to sort this out. So I said, I'm proud of you. Then keep the door open when he comes and give you progress. You know what happened today, Dad? You know what happened today? Said, yeah, tell me what happened today. Make the time, be the counseling person, because remember, in Surah Asr, Allah speaks about counsel. It's in the Quran. And counsel one another towards truth and perseverance. That means you can do that for your children as well. Your children don't have to see you as a person who's losing the battle to stress and to being overwhelmed from this world. They need to see you as victorious. They need to see you as the example that they need to develop. Take the best of who you are and become even better. Remember, the Sahabas were also known as Ummi Salama, radiyallahu Abu Sufyan, radiyallahu Abu meaning father, Ummi meaning mother. These are great people. These are Sahabas and wives of Rasulullah Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are the greatest of people after the Anbiya. Amazing people. So, but they were known as father of, mother of. Wouldn't you like to be known as mother of your son? I would like to be known as son, father of Muhammad Qasim Muhammad Yasin, inshallah, and husband to Musbah. But anyway,
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My Faizal bhai, you are a kind and down to earth person, always willing to help. I listen to you, my Faizal bhai and Bobby. Every week you'll make a mashallah couple. Ameen. My duas are always with you.
mashallah, Allah protect us from Nazar, and may Allah give me the hidayah to keep her always happy, so that Allah can smile on me always and let me
tell
always
you, when
be.
I was a child,
Okay.
my father never let me cry.
Really?
Yes, and that's what I think I told you
But
the first thing.
Tears are very nice.
Oh, I used a lot of tears against him,
Okay, there you
against
go.
my parents. But that was the deal. Like, oh, if I cry, it's the end of the day. You know, in the house, all my brothers, my daddy, mommy, they're running behind me. You know? So that's the one thing I told you. See, I don't cry, or nobody lets me cry.
No, but tears will extinguish the fire.
Okay.
I cry. You don't see my tears, isn't it?
Asif is looking at us, not telling me.
Sorry
Asif,
about
that's
that.
what ladies do. They get married. That's what they tell their husband. That, see, I was very pampered by my husband.
But you know, as a counselor, that ladies cry not only because they're upset, but they cry because to release the emotional
yeah.
stress as well. So,
But
guys,
they like extra attention from their husband.
that's fine. But sometimes they cry when you buy them flowers and say, "Now what I did now." What did I? Don't say I wasted too much of money. That's why you cry.
I was just staring at you.
He's just shocked. He's just shocked. I don't know. We made his day, or we just started fighting.
Right.
But thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for paying attention. I know we took a very serious topic, but we kept it very light-hearted. And I hope you don't mind. Please don't forgive us if we made too light of it. But we need to address these issues and keep it going. Jazakallah for listening. And remember, please, if you're thinking about divorcing, please talk you out of it. 083 778 That's my number. Let me try and help. So next week, inshallah, for my team. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
या सुनो मैं नाम तेरा धड़कनों में या मजा आ जाए मौला दिल बदल दे